good morning, and welcome to Breakfast Show right here on A Farmers Media. I am your one and only host, Christine Mutindi, and I'm joined by
Robert Mwakio.
I missed you since when? A few days ago.
Yesterday.
We
had a holiday.
I will find you.
Yes, we had a holiday.
A long one.
Yesterday you decided to come and I was just around yesterday by the way.
Yes.
Hata ungesema ungeshow jina yangu hapo ningekuja.
Actually I did when we were talking about hydroponics.
Oh,
yeah.
Hydroponics.
See, I have already started the lesson. I
know so many people call it, most guys are always call me like, hey, do you do hydroponics?
Why pour instead of for? And
pour comes from the word Greek, which is culture. Ponos.
Okay. So we've already started the lesson right here, and I'm excited that you're here finally. And remember, you can join in this conversation on all our social media platforms. On Facebook, A Farmers Media; on YouTube, A Farmers Media; on Instagram, A Farmers_media; and on Twitter at A Farmers Media. And of course, we just want to get right into it and probably look, how is the weather? Did it rain? Because I remember you telling me, when it rains, I will not be able to come.
Yes, when it rains, sasa hiyo sisi tunachukua. It's actually a holiday to us because we just say, you cannot, if you cannot walk on gumboots, you cannot walk with the slippers, you only walk with your legs, and that your legs will also be inside mud. Black cotton soil is very bad for when it rains.
But you can wear your gumboots, and then after some distance
that gumboot will be 10 kilograms.
Oh yes, I remember because it's cotton soil.
Yeah, cotton soil that carries a lot of weight. Yeah.
And I can see that most of the areas it is just sunny. What happened to the rain?
It's December. The December weather. I don't know if I can call it climate, because climate is observable after 35 years. With the change of the unpredictable weather these days, we do not even know how the pattern is, because it's not supposed to be raining in December. But for the last 4 or 5 years, it's been raining. And in fact, there are places that are getting characterized by flooding in December.
Yes.
December is the time. December, January, February. That's when we're supposed to be in the dry season. But of late, we've characterized a lot of rains with December, and it's that's part of the climate change we've been talking about. Yeah. So
nice.
Kuna wale watu the people who experience flooding over this period, and I was being told places like Marsabit are also raining.
Yes, and even in Malindi, some parts of Malindi, but it's just a little bit of showers.
Yeah. So if you've gone to Mombasa to enjoy yourself, you'll be shocked sometime you wake up and it's raining.
But I feel like it's better even if it's raining, but there's a little bit of wind.
It takes out.
It's windy, yes.
But there's no perfect weather in the coast when it's at least drizzling. It's not that heat, you can't even sleep with that heat.
Oh no, you cannot. I would prefer to live in that hot area.
Okay, let's see what we have in the newspaper today.
Yes, we do that, and then we also check at the traffic updates as well as the weather updates in all our counties right here on our Farmers Media. Now, speaking of climate change, we have floods that have killed 100 of people, and this is in Congo, Kinshasa.
Yes, remember I've told you this is a period where we've actually come into a period where weather is totally unpredictable. And this is where we'll see the floods of Budalangi coming from nowhere.
Yes.
I think last time, during pretty much this period, when we had a bridge collapsing in Kajiado, about October, November.
That bridge that costed a lot of millions but collapsed in how many days? 3 days? Is it a week?
In a day.
In a day?
Yes. It just went pop like that because of floods.
So I think something was not done well. Probably the feasibility study or the construction. Maybe they used low quality material to do that.
Sure, I mean, some politics zingine we can't get in,
Yes,
we leave it to the experts. We are not experts to say comment there.
Now, Now, Dr. Congo president joined the United States on Tuesday in blaming climate change for the major floods that have claimed 100 lives in Kinshasa.
That's quite bad.
Yes.
That's quite bad.
And so now at this point, the DRC, this is Congo, is under pressure. But unfortunately, it's not sufficiently heard or supported. And this is according to the president, Felix Tshisekedi. Tshisekedi.
Yes. Tshisekedi.
Yes.
Yeah, one of Africa's major... is one big leader in Africa. And right now, Congo is in East African community.
Yes.
So their problems are our problems.
Our problems as well. Yeah. Now, more than 120 people have been killed. Then this is on Tuesday. And the death toll is still rising.
Yeah, we are discussing today these issues of climate change.
Yes.
We had a whole week during the climate convention that was there in Egypt. And we've discussed lots, and much of what we discuss is the issue related to Africa and the outlook towards climate change. Africa is one of the continents that suffers much when it comes to the impact of climate change. We can see right now Congo is really suffering because of the floods.
The floods, yes.
And they have to use a lot of money. And this money, so many industrialized or developed nations pledged to support Africa to floods, to adverse weather like flooding is one of them. So here we expect, if countries accepted to sign and pledge the billions of money that they had pledged to mitigate actions against climate change, then Congo should be in a better position to go to the highest court in the world and request, or go and say, this is what we agreed.
Yes.
We need money to help us mitigate these
these issues, adverse issues related to climate change. And now moving on, we have Tanzania. Tanzania is going to host a food summit next year. Yes.
Perfect.
I
have somebody watching from Tanzania. I think I'll see you in Tanzania next year.
You will see them.
I'll see you there. I'll be in that convention.
Yeah, so they're expecting 3,000 VIPs, delegates, and new partners to the summit that will be held in Dar es Salaam.
Do I belong to that VIP party?
VIP. I know you do. I will follow you.
Tell Noah to put us in the VIP list.
I will tag along. I will tag along to ensure that I follow you to this summit. And they have not disclosed the dates yet, but it's going to be a food summit that will be held in Dar es Salaam, Tanzania. And this is quite interesting. We discuss the foods that we have in Africa, in East Africa, and how we can mitigate the issue of drought. And moving on to the standard, we have United Nations report reveals predictable drought and food shortage patterns. And this is still happening. And 9 years drought analysis in the country shows situation has been worsening. So we've started up there and we're still worsening. The situation is getting bad. With only 1.1 million faced acute food shortage in 2015, but the figure now stands at 4.5 million. So this means we are getting at the worst stage.
And like we said, the worst is still to come. Because we are seeing that's 9 years, and it's now realized that every period, it used to be after 4 years.
Yes.
Right now it's almost becoming yearly that we have shortage of rain. And that's a pattern that is worrying to the United Nations. So we need to start understanding that there are periods where we won't be having rains, like last year, or this year, this year we had really bad drought.
Yeah.
Worse in several decades.
Actually, this is the worst, because reaching 4.5 million, and imagine last year, September, that is in 2021, September, the figure was at 2.1 million. So that is double.
When we just thought that we came out of COVID, came the drought.
Yes.
So it's quite bad, especially to farmers who really, suffered a lot. The impact of COVID and then that post-COVID, not to mention the war in Ukraine. It's been a very tricky year for everybody,
yes,
especially in sub-Saharan Africa, who've actually seen cost of living going extremely high.
Yes.
Yes.
Wow. And we also have Isiolo County that is also facing the drought. They're trying to battle the drought. And we have close to 1 million children aged between 9 and 59 months are malnourished.
But have you noticed a pattern? Every day for the last 2 months, when we've been looking at the newspaper reviews,
yes,
they have to touch on hunger, crisis, and issues related to drought. I mean, it has to feature in the headlines. And we don't know what is happening. We need a total solution to this issue of drought. Because, you know, like United Nations has said, this is something that is there now.
Yeah, and it is worsening.
It's worsening. So those reports are the reports that the government and all stakeholders need to look at. Now we have this with us. What do we do? How do we
how do we get out of here?
Yes.
And I remember last week you said something. We are already in the mud. How do we get out of it?
Yeah, we need to get out of the mud because we cannot start complaining that we are stuck in the mud.
Yeah,
I mean, it's time to pull up our socks and say, okay, this is it. We're already there. What can we do? We embrace new technologies. We start teaching farmers on alternative agriculture. I mean, I don't see why it's too hard to shift our taste buds. Embrace. We do vegetables and farming that is drought resistant.
Yes.
Even if it's closing our eyes and doing GMO, as long as it's drought resistant, why not? Why not? Otherwise, we'll continue having these headlines
problems over and over. Because right now, if just looking at the story that is on page 20 of the Standard, it is saying that to mitigate the situation, Deputy President Rigathi Gachagua announced plans by the government to buy off livestock in the 13 worst hit counties, including Isiolo, which is what we're talking about. But then the Kenya Meat Commission, but locals said the program is yet to kick off.
Yes.
So you see, there's a miss somewhere.
You know, like most of these organizations, like Paracetal, already have a program lined up for the year. So some of those things, that's why we have different parastatal and ministries or like disaster management. That's where they come in. We cannot just wake up and say, hey, KMC, come buy this cattle or double or quadruple your production rate, because this is something that has come up abruptly. That's why we used to, I don't know if it's still there, special programs. Ministry of Special Programs used to be there during I think Kibaki era. Yeah, where special programs is what we are like when we have issues arising from drought. That's special.
And probably floods also.
Yeah, because they have funds. They have their own funds to mitigate, you know.
Yes.
Yeah. So I think right now things are under the Ministry of Interior. Yeah.
Yes.
To look at that.
And we also have in Migori County, pain for farmers as potato factories doors remains shut.
Talking about potato farming, there's a new China-Kenya agreement that will see potato farmers enjoying a lot when it comes to sale. But I will get that more information. I just saw that Twitter. I saw that Twitter kind of information. I'll get full information. So I told people, you know, things like potato farm is very easy. Actually, I don't know why people are not getting into it.
You have mentioned that, and I have remembered. I was watching something, and I could see the Chinese man who was making something out of potato flour, and it looked really nice.
Imagine. Talk of that. Yesterday I was seeing a documentary in the evening as I was waiting for the World Cup.
Yes.
That was one of the longest wait. You know, up to 10 o'clock. You're there just waiting and you don't have anything to do. So I was watching a small documentary of people in Sri Lanka. And there's a tribe in Sri Lanka that actually make ugali. They eat ugali with peacock meat.
Peacock meat?
Yes.
The peacock that I know, yes, the beautiful one.
Yes. Maybe if you go through to Facebook or if you do a YouTube, you'll see that video.
No, they're going to make it extinct, and the way it's beautiful.
No, that's the only tribe in Sri Lanka that have been given a go ahead, but they've protected the peacocks. But I saw the way they're eating that animal. Oh, it has sweet meat, eh?
How did you know it was sweet, Mwakio? And
because you can see it. You see good food, you see it by eyes, eh? That's why they say your eyes cannot deceive you.
But
realize, if you look at good chakula, even if you go to a market, to a marketplace, and then they display food, how would you know? Like if you're passing, you see KFC, you start
salivating.
Okay, they put KFC there, and then they put some other rice there, which you'll definitely look at KFC.
Let me tell you for a fact. Looks can be deceiving. You can see. I went somewhere, and I was given fish. It looked really nice.
Even fish, when
really
they
nice.
Put it on a good picture. Fried, nice, golden fish.
Wait till I tasted the fish. Hey.
The sweeter the better the juicier the picture, the better the food.
No. I do not agree with you.
Maybe Florence will tell us. Do you think you can know good food by just looking at it?
No, I am not there. I know good food by tasting.
By tasting, eh?
You know the way sometimes you see food and you're like, what is the taste of this? But once you eat it, you're surprised. But that one, you see peacock meat. I do not.
There are people who take ugali. There are some tribes out of Africa that eat ugali. They actually
I would really want to watch that.
I saw them actually, how do you call this when you're doing the kneading, or how do you call it?
No, kneading is when you're using your hand.
Oh, so that is hiyo ni mandazi.
Yes,
mandazi.
Chapati, yes.
No, when you knead, but when you're doing the ugali.
The ugali, what do we call it? I think you're just cooking ugali.
Cooking ugali. We'll put it that.
Yes.
So they actually do that, and they eat ugali like real ugali. I was very impressed. Next time
using maize flour, just like in Kenya.
Flour, yes.
Nice. Nice. And maybe we should just try that. I'll make sure I watch that documentary, by the way.
Yeah, just after it all, and it's been trending around.
Yes, and so these farmers, it is a pain for them because the sweet potato farm has been closed. Now, the factory is located in Korea West Sub-County.
Oh, sorry, you didn't say sweet potato.
Yeah.
I was thinking about Irish potato and this. Because there's a high demand of Irish potato right now.
Really?
In the world.
Yeah.
And
this factory was commissioned by the then Devolution Cabinet Secretary Eugene Wamalwa. That was in March last year. And it was to help improve the livelihoods of the locals. But now the plant was to employ 300 people directly and another 5,000 indirectly upon completion, which is yet to be done. So it is not open yet.
It's not open.
And this is 1 year down the line, actually more than 1 year.
I know there are people who need to be asked very many questions. You know, like in project management, you work with timelines and deadlines. Like if you say, we're building the road, we're building this dual carriage from Mombasa to Nairobi.
Yes.
If it's supposed to take 5 years, it has to be in 5 years.
5 years, yes.
That means if it's 5, that is you've stretched it out to 5 years. So you need to do it in 3 years. Yeah. So if you're doing your timeline, especially in any project, make sure you are within the period. Earlier the better.
Yes. And of course, we are not alone today. We are going to be discussing about climate change, Mwakio.
Yes.
And we have been joined by a guest, and we'll get to do that later on. Maybe just to welcome the guest who's already here with us, and give her the chance to introduce herself. Then we get back to climate change, and we see what has been happening in Kinshasa. Kinshasa.
Yes.
Yeah. So good morning, Madam Barbra. How are you? Good morning. If you can hear me. Okay. And we'll be right with her. Sorry for that. We'll be right with the CEO and the executive director as we get to discuss about climate change. Now, looking at still on the Standard, we have the state is going to feed millions of students who are in arid and semi-arid areas in Kenya. And this is going to help reduce the lack of attending school or missing classes because of lack of food. And this has been experienced, and I was watching a video during the drought period, and I saw students, some of them actually repeating classes just to go to school and ensure that they have food, because like one school, it only had classes up to grade 4. But that child had to go to grade 4 so that they could get food. It was that bad.
Yeah, the places like Turkana, we were in Turkana this year, mid this year, and the situation is actually dire. I mean, if it's not for this school feeding program, I wonder how people, they go out, they send their children actually to go and search for fruits to eat. So
wild fruits.
Wow. So you can imagine, and that is the biggest challenge the government is having, especially in 2023 when children resume school, because they do not know much about the children who are in these areas affected by drought, and they do not know how many dropouts are there, how many children will go back to school, how many the transition between high school, primary and high school, or those who've just done the new curriculum. So it's a challenge.
Yes. And maybe if we could get to Madam Barbra, who is the Executive Director of ICSS. If you can hear me, good morning. Good morning. Okay, and on that note, Mwakio, maybe we take our fast breather, but we'll be back with our guest this morning, and we're going to be talking about climate change. So please send in your comments on our Facebook platform, that is on Afarmers Media, on Facebook, on YouTube, Afarmers Media, on Instagram, Afarmers_media, and on Twitter at Afarmers Media, and we'll get to answer your questions and your comments on climate change. Do you think we are the cause of climate change? And what can we do to change this situation that we are in? It is killing millions of people. There's drought and there's floods everywhere. So what do you think we can do about climate change? Let us hear your thoughts right here on Afarmers Media. See you after the break. Welcome back to Afama's Media right here. This is the breakfast show, and of course, we have a guest, and today we are discussing about climate change. And this is because of the trending news. We have drought in Kenya and floods in Kinshasa. This is in Congo, and we are joined by Mrs. Barbra Adhiambo, who is Executive Director for ICSS. And let me not do much of our introduction. She will introduce herself. If you can hear me, good morning. Good morning. Okay, and she will be here with us, and maybe we just start by what is really climate change and how has been affecting us. And we have seen the president of DRC Congo blaming the United States, for climate change. Has it become a blame game? We are throwing out shade on each other.
Probably they're blaming United States because of their finance, but so if you're to blame, you need to blame all those countries, those developed countries that have not been remitting funds as was required by the UNFCCC. The Global Convention on Climate Change. So if it is anybody to complain, it's Africa that's supposed to complain to the developed nations of why they've not been remitting. But actually, the US actually did its part with the Biden administration. They've been able to remit some funds ever since Biden took over. Countries like China and Russia and India that are still playing a big role in the pollution.
Yes.
And need to check on the global pollution. Yeah.
Wow, and it is quite interesting because we have seen climate change, and I was reading an article yesterday, and United Nations was saying that they were able some time back to measure the weather in years, and you just said that while we were doing the newspaper review. But right now we are unable to. We cannot know the trends that are coming in.
And whoever is the person being affected most is the farmer, because most farming in Africa has been done through weather calendars. When during the rainy season and during the dry season for harvesting, rain planting, whatnot. The farming system in Africa is dictated by weather. Now, if we alter the weather patterns, we definitely alter the harvest calendars.
Yes.
And everything farming is totally altered. What that happens? That means that at the end of the day, we'll be having a situation where we have food crisis over and over again.
Yes, food crisis.
And governments appealing for food. And that's why some of these developed nations are supposed to set aside funds to help developing countries, like a country like Congo. That solely relies on its minerals and so much. They have little in terms of even agricultural practice. Okay, they have agriculture, but they have little in terms of production in agricultural activities, like agricultural exports and the likes.
But sometimes I wonder. I wonder what is happening, because you can see that some countries have money, they have resources, like they have gold and minerals that can bring in money. So what happens that we have the same countries, they do not have food, they are marred by floods, we have issues of drought in some other areas. What really happens? Sometimes I wonder.
I think you just answered yourself. You just answered yourself a couple of seconds ago. It's like saying, I'm feeling hungry, and
yes.
you have food just, and the answer of hunger is eating.
Yes.
The biggest issues of the answer to all these problems is finances. Give them money, they'll know how to sort themselves out. Biggest challenge of these people who are suffering from climate change is finances.
I would beg to differ. I think our biggest problem is the government that is supposed to set policies.
Yeah, set policies, but those policies, you also, by the time you're setting policy, budget frameworks are part of the policies they're making. Let's say, for example, World Bank gives out some certain amount, let's say $1 million. to mitigate on climate. Some of the policies are supposed to give us guidelines on how such money is supposed to be channeled. Right now we're having that, they're setting out probably M-Pesa funds to help government, help people who are suffering from issues related to climate change, like the drought. You see, everything revolves around funding, and I know the expert will tell us the same thing.
Definitely, we'll just get to discuss that, and of course we get to answer the questions. What is the cause of climate change? What are the main threats? And then she is going to tell us all this. But I also have a twisted thing here. What if one day we just say that it is the natural cycle taking place? It is the natural cycle.
That is quite natural.
I'll be wrong.
You'll be wrong, because it's not natural. We've altered the environment. Where we used to have trees, we've cut trees, put it to agricultural use.
But you see, now that is my point.
Yes.
We have cut trees,
yes,
and we have caused it. So now it's a natural cycle. It is healing, the way a wound heals.
Yeah, but a wound does not heal like immediately. It takes time. Now, during that transition period, things are not, the status quo is not the same. You've altered. So it takes time to heal, and during that period it heals. And the environment just doesn't heal in a day.
Yes.
It takes time. Remember we talked about soil last week?
Yes.
Soil takes 1,000 years to
1 centimeter, and you were
make
showing
1 centimeter. Yeah, that's 1 centimeter is tip of your pen.
Yes.
So tip of your pen, 1,000 years, and then we destroy it in one.
It's only this tip.
Yes.
Wow. And maybe just get to Mrs. Barbra Adhiambo. Good morning, if you can hear me. How are you this morning?
Good morning,
Good morning.
Good morning, Kristen. How are you?
I'm fine. How are you?
I'm also doing well. Thank you for asking.
Thank you for joining us this morning on Breakfast Show. And we're just getting details about climate change. And we have seen that we have a problem in Kinshasa. There are floods, millions of people are dying, have been displaced, and almost 100 people are dead because of these floods. And now the president is blaming climate change, and he's saying it is because... Yes.
She was having a problem naming the president of Congo, Chikedi.
Yes. And so are we the cause of climate change?
A century. This is a conversation that we've been having for half a century. However, people have not been taking action up to the late, let's say, 19th century is when people started taking action. That is the year 2000 and 2000. That's when people started taking action. And so climate change is very interesting. In the global scale, the main contributor to climate change is fossil fuel. While in Africa, the main contributor to climate change is actually agriculture, which is very interesting. Yes, it is our subsistence, yet it is our largest cause of, climate change and sort of greenhouse gases. So I believe the effects that we are seeing in Kinshasa is actually from the global scale of things.
Yes.
Because, in the global scale of things, what happens, the water we share one atmosphere.
Yeah.
And by that fact, it means that the gases have increased globally, and the temperatures have increased globally, causing this an even weather pattern. I think that's what we can say attributed to the floods in Kinshasa. Although we'll talk about it later, because there are ways that a country can be able to mitigate. It's called climate adaptation. So there's climate adaptation and climate mitigation, where adaptation is more local and mitigation is more global.
Wow. So adaptation is more local, but mitigation is a bit wider. So we have to start from the local going up to worldwide because we share the same ecosystem.
Yes, please.
Okay. And now I
Yes.
have seen that um, we have seen that you deal with sustainable environment. From you founded an organization that deals with the ecosystem. Uh, Dealing with climate change, what is the main threat of climate change?
So indeed, our organization does work on climate change, which is part of our environmental programs. Um, this is because climate change actually affects everything in our lives. It affects us, our ability to make food, or rather to grow food. It affects our ability to even go to school. It affects our health, you know. It affects even our democracy because if a nation is having a poor environment, then they're not really able to um, participate well in the democratic system. So maybe just to mention a few, maybe the major threats of climate change would include droughts, would include uneven weather patterns. It would include rising sea level waters. It would also include like endangered marine life. And of course, the major thing that's going on right now, we are seeing a lot of climate refugees. So it's disrupting the global population and settlement.
Wow. And probably Mrs. Barbara, if you could just move a little bit back, we see you much better. Please move back a little bit.
Okay.
We want to, yes.
I'm so
Perfect.
sorry.
Perfect.
I'm so
Perfect.
sorry.
We see you now.
So, just a quick
Okay.
question. We've been seeing drastic climate, unpredictable weather patterns, and you've talked about how it's really affecting the marine ecosystem. Can you tell us the outcome or the resultant effect of climate change to fish farming in Africa or in Kenya as general?
Indeed, it does affect fish farming. Fish like to stay in cool waters. They only come to warm waters when it's time to eat. So you can imagine the moment the atmosphere has risen in temperatures, and then this affects also the water. So the water boils up, and the water is too warm, and hence now the fish will not really survive. And that's why we are seeing that most farmers right now in the coastal region, when you ask them, are you now catching the same amount of fish you used to catch 5 years ago? And they tell you no, the fish has disappeared, because what it will do, it will try to move to cooler waters, right?
Mm-hmm.
Hence now the coastal area will not have enough fish, which also affects the livelihood of these farmers. And you can imagine, if it affects the livelihood of these farmers, it means this farmer is not able to take their children to school, is not able to afford, food, because you see, the economic system there is to do fishing so they can be able to purchase food. So they cannot be able to purchase food. They cannot be able to afford healthcare because this is part of they don't have enough funds to even go to hospital. So you see, it cuts across and it ends up affecting their whole lifestyle.
That
Wow.
that is very nice explanation, and I will read it. And I believe there are farmers who are following like Frida who should be taking so much notes, because we've had farmers in Kisumu and parts of the Lake region who are really complaining about the death of their fish. And last time we saw that, so they lost so much fish all of a sudden these cage fish farmers realize that their fish have died, and part of the cause of this death is attributed to climate change. And thank you for giving us the insights and information on how they are really affected, and we need to be vocal about this. But I do not know why the country, Christine, I don't know why our country is not very vocal, especially to farming sector like fish farming, because it's a big industry in Kenya.
Blue economy.
The blue economy is quite a big economic drive to our country, but we are not vocal about this climate change.
Yes, we are not. I do not think we are doing enough. But again, because you have an organization, my question would be, because according to the United Nations, and this is since 2014, there has been a problem, and climate change has been very complex in dealing with that. And in as much as, just as Mwakio is saying, governments have put it in development plans, but it is still not working. So what is the complexity in it? What is the complexity in climate change?
I believe from my analysis, I've come to see that the complexity comes between, climate mitigation and climate adaptation, as I was just trying to allude earlier. So, there are two things here, and people try to look at it from sort of one perspective, but they're actually, they say climate action, but climate action should be approached in two ways: mitigation and adaptation. And by mitigation, there are more of, you're trying to reduce these greenhouse gases that are already there in the atmosphere, and they are mostly global. A mitigation strategy could be, carbon credits, right, to encourage the growing of trees. It can include also the carbon tax, which means people will use less, fossil fuels, or will try and emit less carbon in their activities. And so this is on a global perspective. And you see, I feel like there's less adaptation strategies, where adaptation is more changing of natural ecosystems and lifestyles of local communities in order to ensure that you have less adverse effects of climate change. For example, one of these strategies would have been what was employed here in Kenya, where we were told we are no longer going to use the polythene paper bags, right?
Yes.
Yes, so it has to be very local, very relatable to the individuals. I mean, planting trees is part of it. Planting trees for both mitigation and adaptation. But the difference is that, for example, if you're planting trees to mitigate, it means you plant not only just any type of trees, but you plant drought-resistant trees to ensure that in future, your trees will have a longer lifeline. And so I feel like what is happening now, although our government is trying to sort of get into it and get involved in it, there needs to be more of adaptations rather than mitigations, because, approaching it from a global perspective is making us miss the point. It's making us miss the mark, especially in terms of how can local person who's really feeling the global effects of the climate change.
Wow, that is really interesting. And now, Wakio, we need more of adaptation rather than mitigation.
That is exactly what we need. And
Yes.
then, one of the biggest resolution that came out of COP27 was mitigation and establishing a fund
Yes.
to compensate vulnerable nations. It's called loss and damage.
Yes.
Now, we've seen what has just happened to Congo. We've seen deaths resulting to floods. Now, this is going to take, this is a litmus test to the resolution that just came out from the COP27.
Yes.
Are they going to be compensated to this? Have countries committed to put a fund to mitigate, to assist. Congo is not really a rich country, and depend quite much on donor funds. Are we going to see a situation where these developed nations will come out and say, hey, we're going to help Congo, because this is the first country that is experiencing a direct effect of climate change post COP27?
Yes.
I don't know, what is your take on this?
Honestly, I think, you know, because it was a local affair, I believe that the agreement arrived at COP27 was more of the money to channel for adaptation strategies or adaptation measures, but not sort of you know, I think this is a rescue mission. So I believe in rescue mission would, you know, what would happen is that the other humanitarian bodies that are in charge of the, you know, the aid would come. But I believe what they arrived at COP27 was more of, can we try and give, because, you know, what they were doing, the money is there, the fund is there in terms of how can we mitigate climate change. But what they were doing, they were not disseminating it to so that they can do local adaptation strategies. And I believe that's what the agreement was, to give more money to the adaptation strategies. It's very sad what has happened in Kinshasa, but unfortunately, I think maybe they might now consider giving them in terms of you know, money to maybe build to plant things like bamboos so that they can prevent the flooding, especially near the you know, riverine areas. But I wouldn't say they would come in and do humanitarian work to help the people who have been affected.
If we had to look at the adaptation and the adaptation to climate change and having the funds, will that take quite a number of years, bearing the fact that some of these things are urgent? You know, some of the adaptation measures, some of the issues that relate to climate change are the adverse effects which are really putting a strain to economies, especially of developed nations. You see, like what's happening to the drought. Some of these countries are raising funds to mitigate. So that kind of mitigation, like what you said, the plan of trying to, you know, come up with a fund that is going to be progressively helping these nations in terms of mitigating on a long term. Don't you think that we'll be seeing, in the coming years, we'll be seeing more and more countries really suffering from climate change? And if they do not have funds, what is the immediate? Don't you think there's going to be a policy shift from, you know, having set aside funds to help, like planting trees and bamboos for long-term mitigation, than short-term mitigation? I don't know if the funds set aside for short-term mitigation to help such countries that are experiencing adverse effects of climate.
Okay, I think I've gotten your question right, and I think yes, indeed, there will be a policy change, which you can also see is taking effect here in Kenya. You know, the president is continuously talking about climate issues. Even the First Lady is continuously engaging in, you know, climate mitigation strategies, and this is widely seen, and we you know, is visibly seen. There's actually, I think what will happen now, as you're saying, indeed, because more money will be channeled there in terms of since they have already made that agreement, it means that you know, a country now will, instead of budgeting for climate action, I mean climate adaptation strategies, they know at least they'll get funds from, you know, UNFCCC or, you know, IPCC, which is the Intergovernmental Panel for Climate Change. So they can get money from there. And then what will happen is now, you know, ideally most African countries never used to budget for climate adaptation strategies, or never even had policies around it. So those countries that didn't have will now start having, because they know they can have a venue. It's an avenue for them to get more funding from these international bodies. So I believe, yes, there'll be a change of policy. It might take a while, because you can see even in our country, devolution, 10 years down the line, we're still trying to learn the ropes.
True.
So I believe this decade might end, 2030 might come.
Mm-hmm.
We are now, most countries are now getting to now enforce some of these adaptation strategies. But yeah, I think in the next maybe 10 years is when we can see some quantitative work that may have been done, especially with this fund.
Thank you so much, Barbara. That's very good explanation.
Mm-hmm.
Now, one of our viewers called Kefa Nyaido has asked a question, and this is his comment. Climate change is something we cannot control, which is very true. What's the way forward for farmers and all stakeholders in terms of policy making, both inbound and outbound? Mm-hmm. That is Kefa Nyaido's question to you.
But I don't agree with him that climate change is something that we cannot control, because it's humanity. It's humanity that has brought this chaos.
Yes.
God created such an equilibrium world, but our human, I think, wants and all that has made us go to this extreme level. I believe in terms of policy building, there is still some work there to be done, because at the policy table, you get very few farmers who get to sit at the table and discuss, these are our issues, these are our problems, and in place, then it informs the policy that is being built or being developed. So I think there's a bit of a gap there that we need to include more farmers in our policy development, especially our climate policy development issues. And of course, not only the development, but the implementation, because you develop the policy, but then you don't follow up on the implementation. Hence, it ends up not serving the purpose for which it was developed for. So I think that is the first thing we need to address. And as an individual farmer, I believe that right now there are various ways that a farmer can be able to adapt, because again, we said adaptation is more local and mitigation is more global. So as a farmer, I believe we can be able to start adapting in terms of how can I use more eco-friendly fertilizers? How can I make my farm more sustainable? We've heard about the black soldier fly, which helps you to cater to your waste. At the same time, it gives you fertilizer, and it also gives you feed. So I think farmers should now start approaching, not doing the conventional old method that they were being taught, like, use DPA and, all those terms. They just know there's a certain fertilizer you need to go pick and all that. But how can they start incorporating more sustainable measures in their farms, right? And I think also this is something that we should have, and I know maybe they might not have capital, but I think this is also what can I call it? It's a challenge, maybe, yes, a challenge to the financial institutions. How can they make their products more climate friendly to attract even farmers? For example, if a farmer wants funding, a farmer needs to have adapted sort of a green strategy for their farm to be more eligible to get funding for their farms. And what will happen, this will help more farmers to shift to become more green and more sustainable in their family. I hope I've answered that question well.
Yeah, and I like what you said about farmers. But now I would want to just ask a quick one. If is the government doing enough? Because even for the farmers to know what happens with climate change, it needs to start with them, and they need to have a voice to be in the table with policymakers. Is the government doing enough of sensitization to these same farmers? Because it might be doing for some farmers, but what do we need to include all the farmers in one table? Like, what do we need to do, and what is the government supposed to do to ensure that all the farmers are in one table and they can discuss and air out their views and opinions in terms of climate change and the mitigation and adaptation of these same issues?
Unfortunately, in my opinion, I believe that the government is not doing enough, which is very unfortunate. Most farmers depend on the government, right? And farming is the largest, or rather, agriculture is the largest contributor to the economy of Africa. So I believe that the government is not yet doing enough. Uh, I think that it needs more reform, especially in coming up with um, more initiatives that are more of sustainable and green, especially to the farmer. Trying to instead of selling synthetic fertilizer, why shouldn't the government change and start selling organic fertilizer? Such things, I think, should start taking place. In terms of how can the government include more farmers in the table, I believe this would have to really, come from in terms of farmers association. It needs to really come from, the grassroots level. Agriculture is devolved, and so we really need to start from grassroots, the bottom up approach, because that's the only way we are going to be able to make sure that each and every farmer in each and every locality is sort of involved, and their issues have been able to be tabled and it's presented to the very top, rather than issues coming from the very top and then disseminated to the farmer at the level, at the lower level. And this will ensure that each and every farmer's issues are addressed, and there's sort of a comprehensive engagement of the farmers community.
Okay.
Thank you so much, Barbra. Very insightful. I don't know if you'll send us a bill for that. Very, very insightful information. We are so happy. There are so many questions coming in, and probably you'll be able to answer them in Kefa. You'll be answered on our Facebook page. Quickly, Barbra, can you tell us about your organization and what you normally do and how people can contact you?
Okay, so again, my name is Barbra. I am the founder and the executive director of the Integrated Center for Sustainable Systems, which is a center that is using a smart sector approach to develop communities equitably and sustainably. You can find us in Lower Kabete. We are located at Lower Kabete. But you can look also at our website, which is www.icscenter.org.
Can you repeat that, please?
And you can find us also on www.icscenter.org. Center being CENTRE.
Okay.
Yes,
that's
so you can get us there.
www.icscenter.org.
ICSS.
ICSS.
Okay.
Perfect. And
yes,
now, as we wind up, we have Kefa Nyaito, who's watching us from Turkey, actually, and he's asking, is it climate change, global warming, or a climate crisis?
I think climate change is global warming. Then the global warming forms the global crisis. I mean, the climate crisis.
Nice. Yeah. And now we know that there's a COP15 conference that is going on in Canada, and the main theme is biodiversity. And they do not want they want to create a balance between the biodiversity, and they want to halt the harm that has been caused to nature. What do you think? It is ongoing up till the 19th of December. But my question is, how are we going to implement this to our local farmers? Because Kenya is attending that conference. How are we going to come back with more policies, more enforcement to ensure that everyone feels the need to conserve our environment?
Indeed, biodiversity is very important. Again, God created an equilibrium. You know, there was just not one type of tree or one type of crop. Those are mixed, and that is how we sustain ourselves. Sorry, we are created to live symbiotically, and so it is very important that we adopt this strategy of going, you know, of preserving biodiversity, because that's the natural rule of law, you know, ideally. And I think moving forward, you know, we should abolish things like monocropping, encourage more agroforestry, and even mixed farming, where you keep animals and then you also you also do crop farming, because you can imagine this will cater to your fertilizer needs.
Wow, that is quite insightful, and thank you so much for having time for us. Now, probably if you could just have your last words to everyone who's watching us, even our farmers, just your last words.
I believe my last words would be that you individually need to learn to take action. Don't only wait for the government to be the one to solve all your problems, but you know, necessity is the mother of invention, and God created us to be innovative. So each and every farmer, no matter the limited resources you might have, I believe you can be able to make some sort of strategies and measures in your farm, adapting your farm, in order to combat climate change, or rather, climate change within your vicinity. And I think that's my parting shot.
Thank you so much. Thank you for having time. That was very educative, informative, and we will get back to you more and more as we continue with this journey of climate change and educating the farmers about the importance of climate change. Thank you so much.
Thank you too for having me, Christine, and your co-host, who I didn't get the name, but
Robert Monkio. Okay, bye-bye for now.
Goodbye.
Okay. Bye. That was very interesting.
And I love a parting shot. It's all about you. Everything is all about you. Necessity is the mother of invention.
Definitely.
And another thing, I hope, Kefa, you understood this, you know, we cannot say that we will live with this climate change, you know. We can do something.
Yes.
We can be able to get over this climate change.
I believe if I have 2 cows, even if I have 1 goat, as a farmer, I can start that journey of saying, I want to be the ambassador of change.
And you know, funny thing, you know, us, like we're in this fast world where we expect everything to change immediately. You see, that's how we've been programmed, and unfortunately it's even catching up with our children, because we feel like everything has to be done very fast. But people are not believing that climate has to heal, and it's a gradual process. And as the climate restores itself back, nature always restores itself back.
Definitely.
Now it takes time. It won't take like you wake up one morning and then everything is back to normal. So what we need is adaptation, and that's why this agreement came. The agreement that came from COP
27, yes.
Where we are looking at the adaptation. What are the adaptation measures? The funds that have been put aside are basically for the adaptation purposes.
Yes.
And not mitigation. That is what I've learned today. And let's not beat ourselves. Iko pesa.
Yes, let's not try and say we cannot make change. We can make change.
Change starts with you.
You have to be the ambassador for change.
Yes.
And someone, I remember you've mentioned that, and I've remembered someone who was saying that we have to start. Nature has a way of fighting back.
True.
So if we do something bad to nature, then of course nature will fight back.
It will.
So that
Ashley.
is why, yes.
Ashley.
Yes. Yeah, so that is why sometimes you see we have droughts, we have floods. We might be having droughts in one area and floods in another area. So you see, it is quite different. But now you're asking yourself, what happened? Where did we go wrong? But it is us. It is what we did. Yeah.
Do we have today's our very old sayings for the day? Do we have
definitely as we were
we went up
at around
old.
Yes, a few minutes before 10.
Yes.
We'll be giving out that. And just to mention that we are also running an aflatoxin campaign, and just a quick one. Aflatoxins can be found in peanuts, peanut-derived products, and in black pepper, and in chili. Imagine in chili.
That's a new one to me.
That's a new one.
Because some of us just leave our chili. You eat your pili pole
Yes,
you just dip it on your soup. I imagine it has aflatoxin and you do not know.
No, you do not know.
Ooh,
and maybe you've taken also black pepper, you've ground it, you've sold it to people.
Yeah.
And it has aflatoxins.
That's dangerous.
That's bad.
That's dangerous.
That's really bad.
That is why we give you information for free here.
Yes. Yes, and right here we'll be running an aflatoxins campaign. We're still running it. And for more information to know that the primary source of aflatoxins is soil, you can visit Markup UNIDO website. You'll get information there, and you'll get also to understand, ask questions, and you will be answered on aflatoxins, how you can know if your farm has aflatoxins or your farm products. And also on our website, that is www.afarmers.com. We'll be running also the same campaign on our website, and that is to ensure that your products are safe, your soil is safe, and you as a farmer, you are free from aflatoxins.
Very true.
Very true. Yes, and COP15 is going on.
Yes, biodiversity is very important.
Important, very.
So we do not need to change the niche. Yeah, we need to restore the ecological balance. We need to restore the biodiversity. We as much as human beings are top of the food chain, doesn't mean that we should disrupt the whole system. You see, remember when you said just 1 kg of 1 gram of soil has about 30 million types of organisms.
Organisms, yes.
So you can imagine that is biodiversity.
And 1 gram is the small teaspoon.
Yes.
Okay.
So when we are up there in the food chain, but don't forget that even the smallest bacteria is very important, especially in maintaining the biodiversity. Yeah.
And once you've mentioned what teaspoon, I have gone back to the peacock meat. I mean, you disrupted my.
Okay. I looked at the way they cooked the peacock, and then they use those what do you call those? The nyungu.
Nyungu, the clay ones, the clay pot.
Clay pot. They put pepper. It comes out gold, beautiful. Peacock. And that you cannot be allowed to eat it here in Kenya. they're protected. I don't know about your country, those who are watching from Tanzania.
Yes,
And,
you cannot. They're too beautiful. Yeah, and I like the fact that the tail just goes and it broadens up. It's too beautiful. I cannot even imagine someone eating
my
it.
neighbors have my neighbor has a farm that has exotic birds.
Yeah.
Beautiful birds, peacock, crane. One day we'll take a look. We'll go and have a visit, and we see these birds.
But again, we have.
I ask how much is a peacock.
I believe peacock is different species. We have the black one. You see the black one that has a long, or that is batamzinga.
Yeah, that is turkey.
Turkey.
Yeah, we had turkey for Thanksgiving, and it was
I am afraid of turkeys.
Yeah, but
really
I don't know how true it is that before you kill it, it really that I have never known.
It does what?
It releases toxin. Like you have to surprise it when you're killing it.
Oh yeah.
I don't know about that. I don't know about that. That it releases poison. I do not. Maybe somebody can educate me on that.
And that reminds me also a camel. I was told a camel cries. Yeah.
Okay, I do not know, but there's so many myths. But I always say that probably these things have been there for time immemorial, and these are things that have been passed through generations.
Yes.
Same to the education system that we have. Some of our
True.
education system came from as long as the 2 BC, 3 BC, 4 BC. Some of the arithmetics.
True.
Some of the algebra and what we are doing for our life, even the calendar system dates back to the Roman period. So you can imagine if our forefathers were telling us this is this, or you're not supposed to eat this because of this, they have a reason why they are telling you that.
True.
Yeah.
True. And on that note, we are going on another breather, but we'll be back with the new trends in agriculture, and Mwakio will be telling me more about that. I cannot wait to hear what he has to tell me this morning about the new trends. And remember, your questions, your comments can always be read and on our social media platforms. That is on Facebook, Afarmers Media, on YouTube, Afarmers Media, on Instagram, Afarmers_media, and on Twitter at Afarmers Media. And this is Afarmers on Instagram and Twitter. It's Afarmers with a Z. Afarmers Media. See you after the short break. Are back, and just a quick one on the traffic update. We're being told that Thika Road is a mess.
It's always been a mess.
So it's not starting today.
Yes, it's not. But I don't know. Probably there must be something that's causing the jam.
Around Pangani area, they have no idea what the problem is, but it is a mess.
But remember, people, that time of the year when you need to make money for Christmas, that's why everybody is rushing to Nairobi.
Yes.
So going to Nairobi, sure you go early.
Yes, and we have someone else here. This is quite interesting, and he's sending it on our Twitter page that they planted flowers and they dried. Now I can see they're planting bamboo, and this is on Expressway. I'm no botany expert, but I know what not to plant on the road, and bamboo is one of them. Is that a hit or a miss?
And you know how long bamboo takes to grow?
How long does it take?
Up to 15 years.
Ah.
Yeah. Bamboo. So you need to get bamboo that already, so bamboo can stay in the ground, and once they shoot up, they shoot up very fast.
Okay, so why bamboo on the road? I mean, is that advisable actually?
Probably whoever was doing the landscaping understands more.
Yes.
We don't need to have forests where even these tags can be hiding. But anyway, we do not know much. But we are seeing much of traffic is moving.
Much of traffic is moving, and probably Nairobi Expressway. It is.
Use the expressway.
Yes, I have.
Use the expressway if you want to go. If you are really, really in a hurry and you have some cash in your pocket, use the expressway. But if you have to go somewhere, go early.
Go early. But if you're using the expressway, you can sleep a little bit.
Yeah, but we're saying the traffic is not really bad today.
Yeah, it's not moving bad, but probably on a little bit on Moi Avenue, it's building up a little bit.
Yeah.
I can see Safari Park is all clean. It is moving. There is no traffic on that side.
Yeah, it is.
But on River Road, River Road is a mess. River Road, Accra Road, all that, it is a mess. There's quite... From Fire Station Lane all the way up to River Road.
Yeah, Thika Road is actually building up. As we proceed, you can see it's moving. It's moving slowly, but it's kidogo. It's shikaning.
Oh yeah.
City Center, it's a mess. River Road, no-go area.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I can see actually Ngara Road is a mess. It is jammed up all the way up to the Globe roundabout.
Yes. So if you're going into town,
and you're using that route.
Yeah.
Oh, you're going to stay a little bit there. So if you're going to work, you have to really be prepared to wake up early, because that road. But from the longest time I know, that area up to Globe roundabout, that area has been traffic every time. Traffic.
Yeah, you see the issue is this is Thika Road, yeah, 4 lanes, yeah, sometimes 5 lanes, and then they just come and congregate into 2 lanes. What do you expect? The people who were doing the design of this road didn't factor that. You see, these are 4 lanes. And they just come from nowhere. They become 2 lanes. So
2 lanes.
Everybody, and then you know how Kenyans love overlapping.
Everyone is rushing to get in. They just want to be the first ones because they are late.
Yeah, so city center is just totally messed up, especially the River Road, because of the matatus coming in and going out of town. What was Super Metro? If you're getting in stage as Super Metro, totally bad news.
It's bad.
Yeah, so if you're just getting into the city center, just try to just avoid the inner city. Moi Avenue is clean kabisa when you're getting out, but when you're coming in,
terrible.
It is bad news. Yeah.
Bad news. I'm trying to look at Mombasa Road, and Mombasa Road looks clean this morning. Old Mombasa Road, very good. So up to the Syokimau area, we just have a little bit of traffic, and this is just in Mabati area, but that is not much. So Mombasa Road today, you're doing good.
Mombasa Road you see the green.
Yeah.
That shows you know, you're getting in. Apart from
you're enjoying the road.
Yeah. However, okay, finally this expressway has really done its purpose.
Yes.
Opening up Mombasa Road. Mombasa Road used to be a mess.
Yeah.
These days, like right now, I'm rushing to town. I know in a couple of minutes I'll be in town and I'll be back.
Yeah.
Or that the city center, you see what happens is the more the traffic flow into the city center, the more the congestion.
Yes.
And you're talking about 200 cars getting into the city per like 30 minutes.
Yes.
Over 200 cars. So you can imagine at the end of the day how many cars will be there.
Yes.
Yeah.
So I mean, and this is a good movie because Mombasa Road, from the longest time I have known, Mombasa Road used to be a mess.
Yeah, it is.
But right now, getting into town, it's quite easy.
Yeah.
You can take up to 30 minutes and you're from Kajiado County all the way to Nairobi County.
They say sometimes, us who are staying these sides of Nairobi reach faster than those people who are staying in places like Eastland or Ngong Road.
But good thing is we cut across one county. So we come from Kajiado County to Machakos, then to Nairobi County.
If you're using Thika Road, you might even use Kiambu County.
Yeah, definitely. And of course, we'll keep updating you on everything that is happening on your roads. You can also tell us what is happening on the roads. Where are you watching us from? I'm happy that we have someone watching us from Turkey.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, careful.
Yes.
Thank you so much for your comments and everything.
Yes.
And your contribution in every way.
Yes, and now we just get to discuss the trends. New trends and the trending in agriculture, the new trends, what is trending, what is happening in our agricultural sector. Remember, we are here to help you connect, to learn, and to grow. So we don't just give you all the information, we also want you to grow. Yeah?
There's something called the IoTs in agriculture. IoT means the Internet of Things in agriculture. That's something that you need to understand. So the IoT applications include IoTs. This is where agriculture is heading to this year, and as we also move to the next year, where everything is based on internet applications. IoT means Internet of Things.
Why Internet of Things? I mean,
because everything is revolving around the internet and applications. Yeah.
Okay. Yes.
So we talk about applications. We're talking about farm vehicle tracking, livestock monitoring, storage monitoring, farm operation monitoring.
Yes.
Let's not forget we have drones. Drones are doing lots and lots when it comes to monitoring, especially in farming. We are seeing they can do map up.
Yes.
We can be able to map up. So remember we talked about
soil mapping. Yes, I remember.
We can also map up so many things in agriculture. Delivery. Squeezy, do you know drones are used to deliver so many things. You can even use it to deliver fertilizer. Different places.
That reminds me. I'm sorry. I am sorry. I have gone overboard. And I remember I saw a drone deliver a really small one, deliver a package, and it can carry up from 5 to 10 kgs, and it's a really small drone.
Yes, and this technology actually started in Rwanda when they used to distribute vaccines.
Really?
Yes. You put your drone, takes it to those places that cannot be accessed by cars. So they send the drones with vaccine to specific centers in Rwanda. Now we are using there's so many companies that have come up in Kenya. Several of them, I'm sure. There's an exhibition going on in Nairobi. Probably some of them are also exhibiting some of this technology in agriculture.
I would love to see that.
We have drones that are used in spraying, pesticide spraying.
Yes.
You just put your pesticide on your drone and you leave it to just go and spray. Long time people used to use aeroplanes to spray over wide spread area. This is they use drones. It's cheaper and it can cover bigger distances because you can be able to manage it quite well, because drones you just need to power them with electricity. So drones are actually revolutionizing agriculture as we speak, and not only agriculture, different sectors of the economy.
Wow.
Health sector, you know, even more, even security sector. We are seeing drones are watching us every day.
Yes, Big Brother is watching.
Big Brother is watching.
That is what people say. And I remember there was a time that you could, someone was telling me, what if you just fly the drone and it flies, it doesn't come back?
Remember, there are so many checks on drones.
Yes.
And just not wake up one day and go and
No.
Because they're being used, they can easily be abused. Somebody it can be used to stalking.
Yes.
Can be used for terrorist activity. There was a time somebody he was passing his drone in one of the hotels, and it was a security threat to here in Nairobi. So, but if you get your license, if you're licensed and you have your drone, use it. You can use
really
it
well.
so
Yes.
well, especially in things like mapping and etc.
But what of all these things, what I would love most, and I was saying that even yesterday, what I would love most is the robot for farming. When it gets to farming, you go farm.
Yeah,
I'll be here waiting for you.
Robots are actually part of the IoTs in farming. Yeah. And there's a lot you can do in, AI is part of robotics.
Yes.
Artificial intelligence. And that's what we are using in some of our farms in Western Kenya.
But in Western Kenya, you're already implementing the IoTs.
IoTs. What we are actually working on.
Do you have a robot?
We can't say. When you talk of robots, you think is that thing that works like
that is what I have in mind. Do you have it? I want it.
We are using artificial intelligence to do some of the agriculture for us.
No, me, I want the robot.
So what will a robot do?
I want the robot to come and farm. I don't want to farm. I want to sit there.
You remind me of Sarah Connor. For those people who follow that movie called Terminator.
Terminator. Yes.
Terminator is just based on artificial intelligence and how that robot went into the future to come and save the person who programmed it. Now we are using in Kenya here right now. We are using artificial intelligence in farming. It gives us information on a few things like soil pH, soil health,
soil moisture.
We have all those things that give us data that sends it to our computers. We can be able to compute and analyze and give out a recommendation and see how we can have better soils for our future.
But now, Mwakio, you're killing my vibe. I wanted that robot.
To do what?
To farm.
Okay, you want, it's like if you are a farmer and you want robots to farm for you. Next we'll be hearing our military needing the robots to go and fight for them.
No.
Everybody will want a robot. The doctor will need a robot to go and do it.
So you want to tell me that all this time I was thinking it is a robot, like a literal robot. It's not?
No, yes. We just AI, artificial it has intelligence. Artificial intelligence. You can use it. Even drones are part of artificial intelligence.
Can you describe the one you're saying? Because what I have in mind, I'm sorry, but what I have in mind is something totally different.
We're using sensors. A sensor can be something as small as that pen of yours, so long as it's able to receive data, analyze it, and give you back forth information.
So it receives data in binary digits, that's ones and zeros, and it converts that into useful information that I can understand.
Yes.
So this means even a farmer who's in Ukambani interior, they can understand.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Imagine, I am sorry, but my brain.
So not all, not everything you call AI is robotic.
I thought I was literally there. Niliachwa hapo kwa robot. I was there. Imagine now farming, and I remember when you used to get portions and your mom tells you, this is your portion, make sure you finish before lunchtime. So I can imagine the robot doing the farming and I'm doing something else.
We are scared because the robots will come and colonize us.
And we'll have a takeover, the extinction of human beings.
Yes. So let's not talk of robots now.
Robotics take over. I can imagine the title of that movie.
Yes.
Yeah.
Because we put them as farmers now. They now decided to to make us not have food. So they go on strike and we miss food.
Yes, and now Mwaki was speaking of that because I can see that my brain is already switching gears. I think I am going to take a holiday, yeah? And I would not want to take it alone. And the best place to take a holiday is Athi Holiday Resort. Athi Holiday Resort. This is a home away from home. It has luxurious rooms. How do you say that? Luxurious rooms. Very beautiful.
It's not our language. It came with
Imagine they have good ambience. There's a swimming pool.
Look at that.
And there's there's a safe place for your children to play. So you're swimming, you're enjoying your drink, but your children are also safe. As they're doing their thing, they're playing, they have the swings, they have the slides.
And this is the perfect weather to take your children to swim.
Very beautiful. This is the best time actually.
Just take them. Don't let them not disturb in the house. Take them there and then prevent them from getting into the gadgets too much every time on the gadgets. No, take them to run around, let them swim, let them have activities. Don't just, our children these days, we don't even, we want them to go and play outside. We want them, our days we were like, don't go out. Kenda inche will chapa you vipasa. So we are beating them to go out and play.
Yes.
Take your children to play in Athi Holiday Resort. You'll enjoy yourself out there. And then they're giving people who are watching 10% discount.
Wow.
If you're watching us.
Imagine if you're watching us, you already have a discount.
Go with that coupon. Tell them, what, I saw this in A Farmers Media and I need my 10%.
You need your 10%.
And then you get your 10%.
I'm also in that line of 10%.
I'll go and I'll make sure you get that 10%. See,
please.
Go up to up at just near here, we'll go.
Yes. And they have very nice rooms. They have even conference rooms if you're having a meeting. They have Wi-Fi, stable Wi-Fi.
For the organization that are giving out team building, this is the best place to take
and this is actually the best time also.
Perfect.
And it couldn't get better because imagine you're getting the 10% because you are watching us.
Yeah.
Right now.
So for your reservations, just call the number on your screen, 0743-226274, or just go to www.athiholidaysresort.com and make a reservation. This is the Christmas period. You'll find this place fully booked, and then you'll start saying, where can I get last minute? Kenyans are last minute people.
Yes.
Where can I now get a place for
for a holiday, for team building?
This is
for what?
10%. I've seen this. As Kenyans, for your last minute, you've gotten your holiday and you want to start, start going online. Where can I get? When can I get somewhere to book or to go for holidays? This is the perfect time. Secure.
This is the best time, and also this is the time that most companies have end of year parties. Where else would you go other than Athi Holiday Resort?
Perfect.
Imagine you're getting 10% and it's an organization that is paying because you're holding the end of year party.
Yes.
The best time.
The best time.
The best time. And
our producer, we wanted our hangout. He said, they say, I hope it's from Igbo land or from Togo, where we are getting our wise words today.
Yes. Yes. And now imagine, after you visit Athi Holiday Resort, please tell us about your experience. And you will just visit our website, that is www.afarmers.com, and please tell us, how was your experience? How was your visit? Did you enjoy it? Did you enjoy the 10%? And this 10% is only if you are watching us. Yeah? That is the catch.
That is the catch.
I am going. I am definitely going. You'll find me there. You'll find me at Athi Holiday Resort. Yeah.
Yes, it's the holiday season, so when you talk about holiday, it's the butterflies.
You feel the excitement.
Yeah, the excitement.
And you start thinking of Ungayangano.
The Christmas period.
Yes.
Things get booked up this Christmas period. This is the time, yeah?
Yeah, this is the best time. And I think the Mapema and Your Best, that was a meme that was trending in 2022.
Yes.
Mapema and Your Best.
And it's never known where it came from.
Yes, and what it meant actually. Imagine someone telling you Mapema and Your Best. Yeah. Now back to the trends. Internet of Things, IoTs.
Yes, the internet of. So we are talking about the internet is now the new university. Even somebody says all these things that we were learning are maybe a scam, because why should you go to university for 4 years and you can get information right on your fingertips?
Yeah.
Don't do this at home. So many go learn, so that you can put information on the internet. Because right now you can never depend on the internet for all.
I cannot imagine that he said that. Ati don't do this at home.
Yeah, don't. Why should I read?
That's Dr. Google.
Yeah, Dr. Google can mislead you.
Imagine there's Dr. Google.
So can you imagine now, you go take your Google or your YouTube and now you want to now do surgery. Go and then you just cut a wrong nerve there, and somebody dies just because they saw it on Google. That is why it's also use Google as last resort.
But I think it's also passion. I was reading a book, The River and the Source, and there's one boy there, and he saw how his brother he had a cat. So how they just saw you. So he went and found a frog. So he took the frog, overturned it, then he cut it. Then he did the surgery, and after a few minutes, the frog was leaping again. And that is how he ended up becoming a doctor.
He became a surgeon.
Yeah, surgeon. Imagine.
It's just a passion,
Yeah. It's from what you see.
That book, RERUN, is also, oh boy, it reminds me of back in high school.
Yeah. No, I had to go back and read it again because I found it lying somewhere in the house.
I had to buy that PDF online just to refresh myself. Sometimes when we are too bored, we need to go back and just read. We stopped reading. We just went into the internet and started going to Facebook and looking at people's profiles. So we stopped reading. I mean, take this holiday period to read. Read.
Please do.
It doesn't break a bone to read, yeah?
And imagine you can do all this. We have already told you the place to be. Yeah? So you mean, so you want to tell me, Mwakio, that IoT is a lot of things. It ranges from the sensors to that artificial intelligence.
Yes.
So all of them are under IoT.
Yes.
And this is basically in agriculture.
In agriculture, yeah.
Wow.
So that is how far we are reaching in agriculture, and we know that I'm sure 2023 is coming up with new things, new trends, new information in technology. Just don't sit there and technology overtakes you. Also keep updating yourself with the technology.
And now, do we have? I was reading also in the trends, and I saw we have the robots now for harvesting. Please don't remove the picture I had in my head, because you have already dismantled the one for robot for farming.
You can imagine. Can imagine.
Please do not dismantle this one.
Yeah, but I have something in the trunk in my car, in my house. As something, a small gadget like that, a sensor. Next time I'll bring it here so that you can see. A sensor that we use to monitor the growth of our plants.
So you can do that remotely.
Yeah. I put it when I'll be heading to Vihiga. I'm just going to install it in our greenhouse. I wish I brought it before, but I'll take a picture so that you can show the viewers next time. Small gadget that I'm just going to install it in our greenhouse. I'll be here. Well, every time I'm just talking with you, I'm just looking at our application and I'm seeing how fast our plants are growing. All the variables, plant height, chlorophyll level, the heat or not.
How do they know the chlorophyll level? Do they go and inject?
Yeah, it's a sensor that just measures a few variables here and there.
Okay.
Yeah, technology, but those sensors are high technology. Yeah. So
this means that, but you see, it is what you were saying. You just put the sensor there and you're doing something else. It is the same way I had for the robot for farming.
Now you're talking the same language. It's not the robots and all those things that look like human beings.
No, mine is that one.
Yeah, that's a robot. Yeah, that's a robot.
I want that one for the one that. But now imagine if it's working on the farm and the way the foot is big.
Yes. Now what they're doing is we don't want to have all those, spending too much money building the head. Well, why? And we can just have a small thing that does that, whatever is needed to be done.
And now, according to you, who brings more harm to the farm? Is it, let's say, if it's the sensor and the artificial intelligence, which is better? Is it the humans or the artificial intelligence?
It is you, the farmer. You're told to spray 5 ml. You spray 10 ml. More than you don't want to follow instructions that are given. You're told.
But how is the robot going to spray the 10 ml? I have to feed it.
If it's a robot, or if it's robotic, or if it's a drone that is specified that it's supposed to spray a specific range, 10 ml.
Yes.
It will do 10 ml as per the instruction. You see, you as a farmer, you want to do lots of, let's say you're told to do 5 mg, 5 mg
yes.
PPT per probably 1,000 liters.
Yes.
But you say, let me see if I can add like just kidogo too. Or the way we like estimate, we like yes. saying, this look like it looks like 10 ml. Let me estimate it's 10 ml, and then you put it's 550. It's 50 ml. And then you're like, okay, your soil will withstand that, but yes. the more you pressurize it, the more you kill everything.
Yes.
So if you're told 5 ml, let it be 5 ml. Don't estimate it to be, it looks like 5 ml, it's not 5 ml.
Yes.
If it's 5 ml,
let it be 5 ml.
That's how people are overusing the fertilizers.
Yes.
Because we estimate, we look at it like,
napimanga na macho,
that is what is killing your farm, and you're also killing yourself. You never even know.
Yes.
You're told put on a mask and wash your hands. You don't want to do that.
I will take milk after.
You'll take milk after. You'll be taking milk to your graves, by the way.
I cannot imagine. I cannot imagine that. Now this shows that we can do this. But imagine for someone who's hands-on. I like doing my things my own way. Like I like coming with a pump, and spraying my own produce.
Yeah. And then people want to do things on their own. That's another bad thing. Try as much as possible to follow instructions. Especially, last time we were talking about information and farming. There are so many things that are out there. Just because you've seen your neighbor, and that's why information is not there to farmers, especially in the rural areas. Just because there's a farmer, your neighboring farmer is using DAP. He's bought DAP. You saw him buying DAP, and he's not even willing to share information with you. So you go and buy the same DAP. You don't know how he's applying it. You just read the instruction, apply this. Maybe your land does not even need DAP.
True.
So DAP is the ammonium phosphate fertilizer.
Yes.
Yeah.
But you see, again, that is why we are here as a farmers media, and especially the breakfast show, we tell you, and all the other shows, we tell you the good things to use, what not to use, how to use it.
Yes.
Imagine getting all this information for free.
And then you'll say, the people saw a choice information.
All you have to do is watch us, subscribe to our YouTube channel, our Facebook, hit that bell. So every time Christine and Mwakio are on air, you can be notified.
And get a notebook, always jot down so that you have information.
Exactly. Imagine all this information for free. And if you have a question, you ask it on our platform, and that is on our comment section.
I just forgot,
Yeah.
If you attended the Jamhuri Day celebration or Kenyan Independence celebration on 12th, did you apply to get that free university?
I tried scanning that code. I was attending virtually.
Yeah.
I tried. I was like this on the TV because there's a time when the president mentioned it, it was put there. So I was trying to scan it, but I couldn't.
No, probably the pictures were not good enough for your phone to get.
But I was reading another article that said that not everyone got that.
No, yeah, because there are people, you can imagine how many, you're talking about hustlers. Those people, all hustlers have smartphones.
I do not think they do. And then again,
and access to the internet.
Someone else was saying it because probably again of ignorance. Because someone has seen that. And imagine this cost is costly. The cost of it is 100,000. if you're going to pay.
Okay, that is debatable I mean, how do you expect something that is free to the public worth 1,000 unless it just waived for some period?
Yes.
Okay,
so now they're going to get it for free.
They're targeting, I think, several millions of people worldwide.
Yes.
To have that, so it's not free. It is free actually.
So
now.
imagine someone was just ignorant. Was like, how am I going to?
So it also depends how good are you at your you might just be having your cell phone. You don't know about the QR code, how to use your QR code.
Yes.
I was with somebody and then we went to a restaurant. These days, most restaurants have their menu in QR codes.
Yeah.
So I was with somebody and as we stay in Kisaju. So we are seated there, we are waiting for the waiter. Hey, waiter, what is happening? Where is the menu? And then after wasting about 20 minutes, he's telling us the menu is there. What you just do is just scan it, go through the site, make an order. The moment it makes an order, see that each table has a unique QR that has its table. Okay. So when you do the QR, what it will do is it will send the order direct to the kitchen.
Oh, really?
Yes. So you are here, you've already made your order. But I'm praying for the waiters. It looks like their work will...
They're losing jobs, eh?
Yeah.
So this comes in under the Internet of Things.
Taking over everything.
And that reminds me, I was also watching another documentary, and I saw the robots, the ones now I was saying. But they look like humans, like there's no difference. And they are the receptionists at hotels in China. There's one hotel.
Oh,
there were two ladies.
Had to be in China.
Yeah.
They had to be in China.
Yes. Imagine it was in China.
Well,
two ladies.
Where there's a lot of robotics. It's Japan. Japan are so advanced in robots. Yeah, so there were two ladies.
Two ladies, and they were receptionists at the hotel. And they're robots, the ones I was telling you. So if they give me those two ladies, they'll come and farm in Ukambani.
Is it true that there's other kind of robotics in... Tell me if that is true. You're coming from Ukambani.
What?
There's that robotic way that... there's a school that they made... Students went to sleep. When they woke up in the morning, they were very tired. That is in Uganda, I think. There's a border. No, not Uganda. It's Tanzania border. I don't know what it is from the guys who are watching from Tanzania.
Yes.
Where they made children really... In Suneka, there's boys from Suneka High School were made to go and farm some woman's farm in the middle of the night.
Oh yeah, that in Ukambani, yes, I'm told. And you wake up very tired.
African robotics.
Imagine. Oh no. Mwakio tumalize isho. Twende home. Wachana na hiyo. Twende.
Mnafanya kazi usiku wa 9 asubuhi.
Yes. You even actually, I was told sometimes you even wake up with what do we call it? You wake up with soil on your feet.
Yes, because you went and dug somebody's.
Imagine.
What it is, for people who had those myths of students being made to cultivate people's farms in the middle of the night. We are in the Internet of Things. So do you think that is... or those are just myths?
That is the African robotics.
Yes.
So I should not employ that one.
Yes.
I come to introduce the robotics now, the real robotics.
Yeah, I think Naona Kama, our director, is selling us, signaling us our time is running.
But again, he was supposed to give us the proverb
he's waiting for us
from Igbo land.
Let's look at what we have today.
Many hands make light work.
Yes.
Yes. Nice. Many you can say, the way someone was saying, many cookets spoileth the brothers.
No, that negates that, whatever we have.
Yeah. So this is the positive side now.
When we put our hands together, make work easy. Yeah? So that's why we are talking of even cooperatives, yeah? When we have farmers joining up as a cooperative, they can become a big voice to negotiate on prices and market and everything. That is a very good proverb.
Yes.
And if farmers take this initiative of joining up, pulling up together, they can do a lot when it comes to negotiating.
Yes, and also many hands make a light work. It also means that when we have the same goal, achieving it is better and it is faster.
Very true.
Because we are working together.
Exactly.
And on that note, we would like to bid goodbye for now. See you tomorrow, same time, same place. It has been a pleasure having you here, watching us and listening to all of us. My name is Christine Mutindi. Enjoy your day.
Have a blessed day ahead. If you have any questions, our handles are all there. You can always reach us. You can DM us for any if you have any questions.
For now, it is bye-bye.
Bye.